Personalized data permissions are a valuable tool for allowing us to restrict access to data records to just those individuals who should see them. In some situations, however, creating individual policies to cover all the possibilities is a time-consuming task. Dynamic PDP using managed attributes can greatly reduce the number of policies required to achieve the needed level of security. In this video, we'll walk through the process of creating dynamic PDP policies using managed attributes. We have this card that shows our sales revenue by U.S. state. Each salesperson has a territory that is made up of one or more states. We want to leverage Domo's custom attributes feature to manage which states each salesperson can see based on their assigned territory. First, we need to navigate to the Attribute Management page and create a new attribute. We'll name this new attribute Territory States, and then add a description. For this example, we want the data type to be a string list, because we may have multiple state names, which will be string values, associated with one user for this new attribute. The key is the mapping identifier Domo should look for if this attribute will be populated through single sign-on. We aren't using SSO in this scenario, but every attribute requires a key in case it is needed later. We'll set the key to Territory States. Limited visibility allows only authorized administrators to view this field and its values. The value source determines which sources are allowed to adjust the attribute value. Lastly, it's important to have the box for Manage checked, because this makes it so that only users with the necessary administrative rights can modify the value of this attribute. Without this level of security, we can't use this attribute for dynamic PDP policies or groups. We'll click Save, and now we can see our new Territory States attribute in our list. Next, we need to assign territory states to each salesperson. We'll navigate to the People tab and search for one of our sales team members. When we go to Lance's profile, we can see our Territory States attribute show up in the Custom section. Now we need to add values to this attribute. Lance is assigned to the West Coast, so we'll add those states. And then save. Once we've added the values of each team member's assigned states, we can set up the PDP policy. Our sales revenue by state card is being powered by our sample store sales dataset. We can create a new PDP policy in the PDP tab of the Dataset Details page. Now we need to give this new policy a name. Let's call it Restrict to Territory States. Since we only want people to see the data for the territory they are assigned, we'll set up the policy to look at the state column and compare that to a managed attribute. And the attribute we want to compare to is our Territory States attribute. We'll choose to ignore case and then apply. Next, we'll determine who this policy applies to. We can add any groups or individuals we need. We can also apply the policy to everyone in the organization. We'll apply these policy settings and then save. When we preview the policy, we can see which rows of data each person with access to this dataset can see. So since we gave Lance access to the West Coast states, he can only see the rows of data pertaining to Washington, Oregon, and California. This person isn't assigned to any territory, so they can't see any data. When we turn on PDP, we're given a warning that all Domo assets powered by this dataset will be filtered based on the PDP policies we've created. If we want to see which cards are affected, we can see the impact here. Now when a sales team member views the Revenue by State card, they are only able to see the data for the states they are assigned. For example, Lance can only see data for the West Coast states. Using a single PDP policy that leverages a custom managed attribute, we can now provide secure access to team members, regardless of the number of territory configurations.